Hello everyone, this is Gene and I'm back with another video. So I hope everybody is doing well. I wanted to make what I hope is a quick video. My new computer is currently updating. I've spent like 2 days now applying various updates, and since it's updating, it's currently not available, so I'm going back to the phone for a moment. It's always good to have a backup. So I've recently heard online that certain food logos, right, that have a problematic origin or past, right, that are connected to slavery or images of slavery, in particular, Aunt Jeimima, right, the syrup, and Uncle Ben, right, the rice company. These symbols now, apparently these logos, are now being canceled. So I wanted to give my thoughts on that and the larger, I think, issue of canceling everything that has a problematic origin or past, and in particular when it comes to symbols. Right now, on the issue of Aunt Jemima and Uncle Ben, if these symbols are indeed changed, then for me, I think it's a terrible loss because these are probably two of the most iconic black faces in what you might call, food marketing or advertisement, right, or just brand logos, right? There aren't too many, at least not that I can think of, right? Sort of like nationally recognized, known food logos of African Americans, and so in my opinion, to cancel these two because of their problematic imagery or history is just foolishness, right? I think it's dumb, to just put it simply. I think it's very dumb, and again, it's this overreaction. And more importantly, it's a manufactured overreaction, in my estimation, because nobody had one issue. I didn't hear or see anything on Twitter or anywhere else talking about how suddenly these images were racist and anti-black and problematic and all these things. It is again just more corporate performance. We stand behind Black lives. Right, you do so now because, well, you have to make a statement. Otherwise, people are gonna call you out. But the more you make a statement, the more people are gonna call you out because it does not come across as sincere. As the play says, the lady doth protest too much. The brand name company, the corporate sponsor, doth protest and support protest too much, in my estimation. So to me, it's just more corporate, just more corporatism. And the thing about corporatism is that when a supposedly grassroots, organic social change or movement starts being overrun by corporate sponsors and corporate overlords, it begins to lose a lot of its authenticity. Because what is it really about now? Is it really about justice for George Floyd? Is it really about justice for people who have been victimized by police brutality and excessive force? Is this really about Black Lives Matter? Right, the phrase, not the group. Right? Is this really about respecting and wanting to improve and help and save Black lives, or is this simply about virtue signaling? More and more, it looks to me like virtue signaling. And now it's just, as I've said in another video recently, when things begin to head to their logical extreme, they head straight off into absurdity, right? If this continues, and sadly I think it's going to continue, guess what's going to happen? Everything's going to get canceled. Everything is going to get canceled. Coca-Cola will get canceled. Why? Because the Coke in Coca-Cola stands for cocaine, right? When the drink was originally invented sometime in the 1800s, right, it had cocaine in it. And the crack cocaine epidemic absolutely wrecked. It devastated the inner city Black communities across America, but especially in large liberal cities like New York and Chicago and LA. And sooner or later, someone's going to pick up on that and go, Coca-Cola is racist, because they have the word Coke, right, and the cocaine epidemic and all this other stuff. So they'll get canceled. All of our comic book heroes will get canceled because guess what? The vast majority of them were made by white men. Even the black heroes. Black Panther is a Stan Lee creation, right? Storm. She's not a Stan Lee creation, but she is a Marvel creation, and I know for certain. I think it was Len Wein or Wen. I forget who the other person was. I have to look it up again. But I do know for certain that the people who created her were not black, right? The most iconic writer for the X-Men and for Storm in particular is of course Chris Claremont, who's a white man, right? I did a whole video about this a few months ago about how the Mary Sue unintentionally praised the work of white creators, right? So all of our comic heroes are going to get canceled. Why don't we cancel the Captain Marvel film from last year? You know why we should cancel that? Let me tell you why we should cancel that. Because that film is inaccurate. Because it's putting down a black woman. What do you mean, Gene? What do you mean it's putting down a black woman? Well, here's the thing. Carol Danvers was not the first human woman to be Captain Marvel. She's like the third or fourth. And she's currently fifth in line just to have the name in general. But she was not the first human woman to be Captain Marvel. The first human woman to be Captain Marvel was Monica Rambeau, a black woman. She was the leader of the Avengers, if I remember correctly. And she was Captain Marvel. Again, the first human female to be Captain Marvel back in the 80s. And yet the film, which is supposed to be introducing Captain Marvel to the world, stars a plank-faced white woman? No. We must cancel this. You see, this is where the logical conclusion runs right off the damn cliff into absurdity. And I want to be clear, I am being facetious. As much as I do not like Carol Danvers as Captain Marvel, as much as I don't like the Captain Marvel film, I do not want to cancel. I'm just exaggerating, right, for effect to make a point, and I hope I'm making that point. Right? So if you just keep going on and you just keep finding fault with everything because of its origins, then guess what? You're going to end up canceling everything that you like and care about. Oh, not these damn fireworks again. It's not even 7:30 yet. New York City! I swear. But anyhow, as I was saying, I'm in control of my temper, I swear. But anyhow, you're just gonna cancel everything, which in my opinion is absolutely stupid. Now so that's the first part, right? Now here's the second part. The second part is symbols. The thing about symbols and logos is that they change over time. What they mean changes over time. Let me give you a very good, if albeit political example. The Nazi symbol, right? We all know what that means now. We know that it represents Nazi Germany, and it represents the Holocaust, and it represents Hitler, and it pretty much represents and is the embodiment and visual expression of every ill and every horrific thing that humanity and human nature and human society is capable of. I think we can all agree on that. Here's the thing. The symbol in of itself is not of German or Nazi origin. It's actually, if I remember correctly, of Buddhist origin. It used to be a symbol for like peace, I believe it was, and then of course the Nazis appropriated it and corrupted it. But that's a symbol that changed. It once had a meaning of something positive, which was peace, and now it has a very dark, evil meaning, right? Of death and destruction and murder and genocide and the Nazis and Hitler and all this other stuff. It changed. Right? And our understanding of logos and symbols can change depending on the content and the context and your own reference pool. For example, let's say someone's doing the classic X across the chest, right? Cross the arms, across the chest in an X formation. Here we go again. Right? Depending on your reference pool, that stance, I guess you could say, right? X across the chest can mean many things. If you're a pro wrestling fan, it could stand for Degeneration X. If you're a comic book fan, right, it could stand for many comic book characters. If you're a DC fan, you might think of Wonder Woman. If you're a Marvel fan, you might think of Wolverine, or characters that are derivatives of him, such as X-23. If you add a shoulder bounce, right, then you get Black Panther and Wakanda Forever, which has now been appropriated by various pro-black groups, including the actual Black Panthers. right? So these symbols and their meanings change all the time depending on the time period, the person, the situation, so on and so on and so forth. Now, what I find interesting is this, right? What I find interesting is this. So many people are calling for the cancellation of films, right? Gone with the Wind. People are trying to mess with Zootopia. People are trying to get Aunt Jeimima and Uncle Ben canceled, right? But what I find interesting is that, especially when it comes to Black lives, right, in particular, I'm surprised no one has mentioned, at least from what I've seen, no one's mentioned Planned Parenthood yet or abortion yet, right? Those things have very problematic past and have had quite the impact, I'll just say, on the Black community and on Black lives. Right? For example, Planned Parenthood was founded by, what's her name, Margaret Sanger, right? And she supported eugenics, and she supported, the idea that only people who had the means, financial means, and who were mentally and physically healthy enough, they should be the only ones who have children, right? There were members, I should say, there were members of the Ku Klux Klan who supported her message and agreed with her. Yet I haven't heard, at least not as of yet, I haven't heard anybody, at least recently, on Twitter. I haven't seen anything, I haven't heard anything calling for the cancellation of, say, Planned Parenthood based on its past, right? Now, I want to be clear because I know that Planned Parenthood and abortion and things like that are very touchy subjects. People have very deeply held beliefs of all types on the issue. Here's my thing. I'm not trying to tell you what to think on that. That's up to you. I'm not even telling you what I think on that. It's up to you, right? This video is not to discuss my personal opinion or feelings about those topics. I bring them up simply because I just noticed a hypocrisy in trying to cancel food logos, but not criticizing, I should say, the origins of a practice and of a group that has deeply impacted Black lives and the Black community, right? I'm going to be clear, I'm not calling for the cancellation of Planned Parenthood. Whether or not you agree with them, disagree with them, whether or not you partake of their services is completely up to you. It's not up to me. It never has been up to me, never will be up to me. The only thing that's up to me is whatever is up to me. It involves me. I can't tell you, and I'm not going to tell you what to do or what to think or how to feel in those particular areas or anything else. All I'm here to do is simply tell you my opinions. I want to make as I was saying, I'm trying to simply express my opinion, right? That's all I'm here to do, is express an opinion, not tell you what to think or what to do. So I'm not calling for the cancellation of Planned Parenthood. I just want to make that clear. I'm not an organization I support, but that's irrelevant, and that's completely up to you. It's not my place to tell you how to feel about it. I'm just surprised that nobody's brought them up, at least not yet. We'll see what happens. But in short, this trying to cancel everything because it has some sort of problematic past is just going to end up canceling everything that we care about. And it's stupid. We need to... I'm not quite sure we need to keep the past alive, per se. But we do need to preserve the past. Not everything about the past needs to be rewritten or whitewashed, blackwashed, redwashed, or anything else. We need to preserve it because we need to remember it, because we need to see where we were so we can understand where we're at and understand where we're going. But when you allow the crazies, right? When you allow the inmates to run the asylum, when you allow people to go on like this, unchallenged, virtually unopposed, and when you constantly give people what they want, and when what they want is unreasonable, right? Well, guess what? You get this. So anyway, that's the video. Please let me know what you think, and I will see you all in the next one. Have a good day.